You know, there are plenty of YouTube gardens out there. The places are washed with them, and you know, there are some that you like and some that you don't like, and that's absolutely fine, because if everybody was the same, all our gardens would be the same, and there wouldn't be any point in making gardening videos because there'd be no need to. Anyway, it's all well and good with online gardeners saying how to do things, how clever they are, and all the rest of it, but really it's a far better learning point to see the mistakes that are made and then how to fix those mistakes. So what I'm going to do today is go around the garden and show you all of the problems, all of the issues that we've had, and then what we're going to do to try and improve that for next year. So what we'll do, we'll start at one end, go around, and all the little bits that no one wants to show you, we'll let you know what they are. Now, one of the things that I did wrong, so I'll take full responsibility for it, is I didn't put in enough cold protection for some of our more tender plants. Now this here, this little banana here, this is a Muzella lasiocarpa, and I really like these. They're not your typical kind of banana-ish plant. I'll show a little picture of it so you know what it is. And despite being told, because it's the first time I've grown this, I've been aware of it for years, but it's the first time I've grown it here, and as far as I was concerned, this is quite a tough little cookie. But the trouble is, most of the root system died during last winter. We had cold temperatures down to about -6, -7, and really what I should have done is put a lot more frost protection. What I should have done is put like a dry mulch over the top of this to give it a bit more protection from the penetrating frost, and I didn't do that. And what happened was the bulk of the plant didn't come back, and I had this little side shoot, which is what this is now. So that's my fault. Keep an eye on the weather, and you know, put on your dry mulches for added winter protection. The same thing really happened with this this little trachycarpus here. Again, it was too small to cope with the cold, and I didn't do anything about it. I just left it out there, and it did struggle. We had spear pull where these centers come out, but as you can see, it's grown back. It is fine. And next year, if we're going to experience the same temperatures again, and I really don't think we will, then I'm going to put more fleece on this and give it far more protection. So I guess this is our most impressive border, and we really like it, and we haven't put a lot of effort into it, because all we did was the old vegetable patch, and we just dumped all the plants in there and just stopped growing veg in it. So it does look very good, but you know what, there is a problem here. You see this apple tree is a Bramley, so it's got really big apples, and this loves just to drop their apples and smash everything that's underneath it. So everything kind of like 1.5 meters in, that's all at risk getting smashed by apples. I could trim it back, and I have trimmed some of it back, but you know, you'll ruin its shape if you're not careful. So I could do a little bit more, but that isn't a problem of my own making, but I could have resolved it a bit better. But on the whole, we haven't had too much damage. We've got away with it. Let's have a little look. You know, you do hear them come down and thump, but on the whole, that's okay. And also, it's a little bit shady. I was expecting this area to get more sun. We've crown lifted this tree. We took everything up to about 2 meters to get more light coming through, and it is. You can see it's coming through, but it hasn't really been enough. I mean, this purple one hasn't even flattered this year. It just couldn't get enough light. But on the plus side, look, see, ripped leaf, apple in the bottom there. It just hasn't done the trick. And we even put in that little monstera there, because they need to be started off in the shade, because they can easily scorch, but it hasn't got terribly big. But saying that, we planted one on the opposite side in the shady border, and that has done really, really well. And so while I'm over here on this border, I just want to show you this lovely sort of burgundy red banana. It is Enset ventriculosum morellii. It's the red Abyssinian banana, and I did buy one of these last year, but what I didn't do was buy early enough in the year. These really need to be established, because I don't like lifting them in for the winter. So it went in late with a cold winter, the whole thing died, so I had to plant in a new one. Now this one I got as early as I could. You can see it's getting a bit of a chunky size now, so I'm much happy with this. Again, I'll put on a dry mulch. I've got to take all the leaves off and give it much more protection, because I don't want to lose this one this year, so this is going to get extra looking after. Now, as you can see, I like to have these trailing plants in the trees. I think it gives a really good exotic look. And this has been fine, and that one's been fine, although it's a bit small. It needs to be overwintered indoors and let that recover, well, not recover, you know, don't any damage on it. Let it grow a bit longer for the rest of the season, and next year get it out as big as this. But this one I'm a bit disappointed in. I can never remember the name of this. It's done what I wanted it to do, which was have a really long drop of foliage, and it has, wow, what are you talking about? It's about 8 foot of foliage drop there, but it's really only sort of like grown on one side and a little bit there, and it's just got, what I was expecting it was to be completely covered around there. So next year I'm going to overwinter this again, and then next year what I'll do is I'll stick in a couple more plants just to bulk this up to give a better effect. So it kind of worked, it kind of didn't work. It can be done better, so better we will. This is one of the last borders that we planted up. We planted that up this year, so it's only been in the ground about 6 months. So the thing is, I think I've still got plants that are in there that I haven't put in the ground yet, which I do need to do because I'm not going to grow otherwise. But it is a bit open space here. I do need some more plants in it. It's not really giving the effect that I wanted, so more work required. But again, maybe it's just because it's still so very, very young. Oh, yeah, that's a mistake. Sunflowers. We had sheep in the field, and we did have that. You can just see the fence in here, but we didn't have the barbed wire because what was happening was the sheep were just poking their head through and they were just eating everything on this side of the fence. So I wasn't expecting that, but then I wasn't expecting the sheep to be in there. But sheep there were, and I hadn't mitigated that issue until later on. So we have got barbed wire in now. The sheep now don't come in, but originally I lost, I think, all but 2 of the sunflowers. So again, next year, so that's the only one we got. And that just brings up another problem. These are supposed to be giant ones, so you buy them, and that's not a giant one, it's a flipping regular one, you know. So disappointing, and that's not my fault. You know, you do buy these products, you know, you get them from good suppliers, they still send you the wrong stuff, or the wrong or it's wrongly labeled in the pack. But again, what can you do? Maybe buy 2 or 3 different lots from other suppliers, and then you'll know at least one of them should be working very well. Yeah, so that's that other monstera that we had in the shady bed, and that's just like twice as big, and that's actually done all right. But we did have some problems with these phormiums. We lost about 3 really good phormiums last year due to the winter. So again, even though they're usually rock solid, last years and years and years, you get those really cold temperatures, like I say, down to -6, down to -7, and these can be knocked on the head. So we did lose quite a few, but I wasn't expecting that. But we've had to replace them, and hopefully this winter will be so much better. You know, they'll establish, and then come the spring, get a lot more growth coming out of them. So this was something that we tried, but was a bit of a fail. We had some seedlings of Dahlia that we grew. We had these in the main borders in the sun. They were not bad. They grew to about 3 foot, and had quite large, attractive red. I mean, that red does seem to be fading a bit pink now. But we had some space at the back of this border, so I thought if we lift those out of the border that was over there, and then put them over here, because they're in the shade, they'll get taller. So we'll have something sort of nice and tall and flowering. They have got tall. I mean, you can see that one, that's over 2 meters tall. But the problem is because they're going to stretch in the shade, or etiolate, which is the right word. It's made the stems too weak to hold the stems in place. So it hasn't really worked. So come the autumn, once these are finished, I'm going to lift them up, put them back over there, and I'm going to come up with something else to go in here. So that one didn't really work very well. Okay, quick question. Can you see what's wrong with this Dahlia here? Anybody got it? Well, it's pretty obvious. There are no blooms on it. Now this, we overwintered, it come through, so it's been in the ground all year. It gets the sun, most of the day. It gets plenty of feed and water, and look at it. Where are the flowers? Well, let me show you. This is the middle of September, and I'm going to show you where we are with flowers on this plant. Bearing in mind, every other Dahlia that we've got in the garden has bloomed. In fact, a lot of them are coming to the end of blooming, but look at this, this has really been stubborn. So you can just see that it actually has produced its buds, but they're really tight, so these still aren't gonna open up for a while now. I mean, we could be looking at an October flowering for this thing. I mean, that's so lazy. You know, you try and look after these things. What could I have done better? It's hard to say, really. I mean, maybe lift it, put it in a position of absolutely full sun, massively feed it to get it going, but really, this is such a lazy bugger. Okay, don't worry, we are nearly at an end. Look at this, we had a problem on here, and you know what this is. These are box plants, and this one's been completely ripped apart and shredded and eaten by the old box caterpillar moth. Now, I knew this was coming, but the problem was we had rain forecast and rain every day up to when I wanted to apply the treatment on this, but then we were going away, so we actually couldn't put the treatment on it. And when we come back, look at it, absolutely ripped apart. Could I put the treatment on in the rain? Well, what would be the point of that? It would just get washed off, so it didn't work. So we just had to suffer the loss on that. I'm very annoyed, but I'm hoping that we'll start getting some new growth on this. I mean, there is some chlorophyll still in these stems, but I haven't seen much movement on it yet. These are looking better, but you know, I'll put my hands up. That's my fault. I went the road. And I think this will be the last thing that I show you. I think we've covered kind of where we are with this, and it's a really lovely giant leaved hostum. It's almost like plastic. It's really tough and big and beautiful, really like that. But it is getting scorched now. It's in the shade for most of the day, but at the end of the day, when the sun comes around, we get the light on it now, which is what it's doing. You can see there's scorch on this. It's a bit damaged, so I put this there, so probably need to, or I'm maybe just going to leave it there because it looks fine for most of the year, or I'm going to have to move it to another side where there's a little bit more shade. But maybe, you know, maybe I might compromise and lift it, split it, leave some here and put some further along. And there we are. These are the problems that and the mistakes and the things that have gone wrong and the failures of our garden for this year. I mean, they're not too bad. I kind of got away with most of it. The only other thing that I probably haven't mentioned is slugs, because slugs are a problem, but we kind of dealt with those with the slug pods. We haven't had a big issue, and a lot of people I know have, simply because the modern slug pellets really don't do a very good job. And let's be honest with you, if you're poisoning your slugs, then the predators that eat the slugs are also going to get poisoned. So it's not a great way, although it can be effective or was effective. It's not a brilliant way of looking after the other animals that come into your garden. Anyway, thank you for watching, and if you've got anything anything like to share, any problems that you've got or experienced and how you dealt with that, then, you know, leave those in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Anyway, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.